Welcome to Redefining Balance for Working Moms podcast, where we believe life balance is possible. Yes, even for you. You might just have to redefine what it looks like for yourself. I'm your host, fellow working mom, and founder of Your Life Rocks, Jenny Stemmerman. Each week, I'll bring you practical, real-life tips to help you focus on the things that matter most in life and be the best version of yourself in every area that God has called you to. Ready to redefine what balance looks like for you and your life? Let's go. Hey there, welcome to the show. I am so glad that you're here to hang out with me today because today is our last episode of the year. I know, crazy, right? I know so many of us are excited to be done with 2020 and moving on into 2021, but really they're just dates on a calendar. And really what matters most is what's going on in our heads and in our hearts and how that plays out in the actions that we do. And that is what we're going to be talking about today, is why it's important to be setting goals for the new year, what to do to be careful about setting goals in the new year. And really, it's kind of just a work session between the two of us to help you kind of start the new year off on the best foot. I know I just said it's just a date on the calendar, but it is an important date, and it is a date that, we have as a rhythm into our life, into our culture, that it is a new year of promise and hope. And after the year that we just finished, I think we could all use a little bit of that. Now, if you've been listening to the podcast for a while, even just, the last couple months, you might have heard me talk about some changes that I was working on and thinking through and trying to figure out some things new for Your Life Rocks. Now, to give you a little bit of context, Your Life Rocks has been around for, almost 6 years now, which just kind of blows my mind a little bit to say that I've been doing this podcast, before the podcast, writing blogs, but really for like 6 years. It's been a long road in doing this thing. And really, when I started Your Life Rocks, I was, just to give you like a picture, I was working full-time in the position I was working for. Oftentimes I was traveling 2 weeks out of the month. My husband was a stay-at-home dad to our kids. They were both elementary age. I mean, now I feel like my kids are growing up so fast. And when I think about how little they were back then when I started Your Life Rocks, it just is crazy. But really, the reason why I started it was I felt like God was calling me to be a voice for other working moms. When I would get online and I would be in other working mom groups, or I would see other women out in just the working world, it was kind of negative. It was a negative thing to think about, like, oh my gosh, there's so much for us to do. Our plates are always full. There's always stuff falling through the cracks. I always heard people talk about themselves being a hot mess and not able to keep up with everything and feeling like they were always failing. And I know from my own experience that what we focus on, we get more of. And I didn't want to focus on that anymore. I didn't want that to be the voice that I was always thinking about. I wanted it to be more positive. I wanted to think about how awesome it is and the blessings of being a working mom. I mean, the fact that we get to contribute and use our talents and our gifts to do awesome things in this world, and then come home and really raise amazing little people to be adults someday, and to do all of that in the glory of God. I knew that there were so many blessings. And so I just wanted to shine the light on the positive parts of being a working mom. And as I started Your Life Rocks, and as I kind of went through, shining that positive light and talking to more working moms about just their lives, I realized that not everyone had systems in place in their life. Now, I don't want to say I'm a very organized person. Some people would consider me to be organized. Sometimes I feel like I'm not. But for the most part, I like systems. I like there to be order to things, because truly when there is order to things and when things are organized and I'm prepared, things go much easier. Now, that's not my natural nature. My natural nature is to kind of rebel against stuff like that. I like to be spontaneous. I don't like to be put in a box, but I know that's not good for me. It's kind of like how I would prefer to eat sugar cookies with my coffee every morning, but instead I choose MCT oil. You know what I mean? Like, I would prefer to have like really good creamer and a pastry. That's my ideal breakfast. But I know that that doesn't serve me well. So instead, I have eggs and avocado and MCT oil in my coffee and do the things that I know are going to be good for me. Well, that's kind of how I feel about all of the systems that like we talk about here at Your Life Rocks. Is they're not something that I always love doing. but I know that they make a huge difference in the way that I live my life, allowing me to be in balance. And so over the years of always being a working mom and my husband always being a stay-at-home dad, that, let's just be honest, he was a great stay-at-home dad. He was not a stay-at-home husband, right? Like when we think about women who stay at home and take care of the house and do all of this stuff, right? Like I was still doing laundry. I was still doing the grocery shopping. And a lot of it was because I wanted to. I wanted to be able to have my fingerprint on the family and not just go to work and come home and sit in front of the TV or whatever, right? So it was a little bit of a different dynamic being a working mom and him being a stay-at-home dad, but it's what really worked for us. But through the process of doing that, I realized, especially traveling, that I needed to have systems in place. And so by the grace of God, the right mentors and just right circumstances allowed me to create these systems for myself: weekly planning, daily planning, all of the routines and habits that I talk about on this podcast. I really developed in a season before Your Life Rocks, when I was just like, okay, I got to figure out how to be a working mom and make this all work, right? So long story short, I had all of that in place. Then I started Your Life Rocks, and I just assumed that everyone else already knew this stuff. Like I was the only one left that just didn't know how to adult right. And the more I talked to people, I realized they didn't have systems either. And they didn't really know how to go about doing them. And then that's where Your Life Rocks really turned into the clarity that it has evolved into of teaching people how to create balance by putting God first and foremost in your life, by living in community, and by having the systems in place. And so yes, we're going to get back to talking about goal setting and all of that good stuff. But just to say, at the end of this show, I'm going to talk to you about some of those changes that you can expect to see in 2021 for Your Life Rocks, all of the additional supports that are going to be out there for you, which I'm really kind of excited about, and some things that are going to simplify a little bit. So make sure you stick around to the end of the episode, because I think it's a really important thing that everyone's kind of clear on kind of what to expect. And really for me, that I can say it out loud, because I don't do Your Life Rocks full time. This is like something that is on the fringes of my life. I still work full time, doing something else, raising the kids. If you've been listening to the show or watching YouTube, you know I'm homeschooling this year on top of all of it. So things really needed to simplify quite a bit in order for me to continue doing Your Life Rocks. And we are going to continue doing Your Life Rocks, but it is going to be simplified. So stick around to the end for that. But let's first talk about goal setting, because I think it's really important. Now, we are having a goal setting workshop. If you signed up for that, check your email. And if you do not get the email or you're not finding it, because sometimes it goes to weird folders, reach out to me. Jenny@yourliferocks.com is my email address. You can message me on social media. I'm trying to be better about checking social media messages, but let me know if you don't have the replay of the workshop. Now, because of some additional roles that I've had to take on in my full-time job in the last month, it's not a live workshop like it was intended to be. So it is a replay. You can also catch it over on the YouTube channel. I put it over there as well, because I really wanted to make sure everyone had a chance to get it, to use it, because it really is important to set goals. So let's talk about why it's important to set goals, because I don't know about you, but last year I set goals. And then everything in 2020 happened, and I was like, why did I even bother setting those goals? And oftentimes in life, we can be setting goals in one area of life, like our health or our finances, and we feel like we're always setting the same stinking goal and just not moving ourselves forward. And that is a horrible spot to be in. And then we get to a point where it's like, why even bother? Why even bother setting goals? Is goals even the right thing to do? Is it what God wants me to do? We kind of can get stuck in that. And I'll be honest, going into this next year, I can feel a little bit of that in the back of my head, in the back of my intentions that I'm setting, just kind of this a little skeptical, feeling going on. But I know that that's not right. And so as I was praying about this and really thinking about like, Lord, why am I feeling this feeling of not wanting to set goals, or feeling like there's no point in setting these goals? And is this something that's coming from you, or is it something that's coming from someplace else? And I really feel like after praying about it, that it is coming from someplace else, because when we set goals, if we're setting them in the right way, number one, a goal is like a prayer, right? It's something that you're wishing for, asking for, wanting to work for. in your life. Now, people who are kind of woo-woo or, not always setting goals and following God's will and things like that, they think it's almost like a manifestation. And that's not the way that I set goals. I set goals that I really pray about and I put before the Lord. And when you take the workshop, you're going to see that putting our goals at the feet of Jesus and asking the Spirit and really praying on our goals, if it's the right direction that God would have us do, that is really an important part of it. And, when you think about what if I just decided, you know what, God's going to do what God's going to do. There's no reason for me to pray. That's not biblical, right? It's not biblical for us to just be like, well, I'm not going to pray. The Bible tells us to bring all of our desires before the Lord, to pray about everything, to pray without ceasing. So why would we stop setting goals? If a goal is like saying a prayer, then that just doesn't make sense, right? Number 2 is goals give us direction. Think about this. If you had no goal for your career, no intention for your career, then what's the point? What's the point in doing a good job other than just not to get fired, right? What's the point in wanting to take on more responsibility or learning a new skill or even getting up and going to work? I mean, if you get 10 days of sick days every single year, then why not just plan on, I'm going to call in sick every other week? What's the point, right? Without a goal, we kind of start to settle and do less than and not rise above and go forward in a good direction. Even thinking about our health, right? If we have no health goals whatsoever, we don't care about our immune system or being healthy in any way, shape, or form, then I might as well have those cookies with my coffee every morning, right? But that's not a good direction to go in. That's not going to take us where we ultimately want to go. We're always going down a path, right? Whether that path is going in a positive direction or a negative direction, it is going in a direction. Life moves. It doesn't stand still. And so without a goal, we have no direction. And so it's kind of whichever way the river flows, right? And that doesn't always lead to where we want to go. In fact, it can lead to problems. So goals give us a good direction. A goal is a prayer. Number 3 is goal sets a good example to those around us. When we are setting goals and we're having that positive direction, it sends a message to other people who are watching us. And really, when I was thinking about this, I'm really thinking about my kiddos, but it goes beyond that to other people too. But I want my kids to have goals for themselves. I want them to have goals of doing well in school. I want them to have goals of growing closer to God and having a relationship with Him. I want them to have goals of keeping the room clean, right? I want them to, I don't want to hate saying strive for something, but work for something, have a vision for where they want to go and go in that direction, right? And so if I'm not setting goals, if I'm not actively working towards those goals and celebrating the milestones on the way to achieving them and celebrating when I do achieve them, then what am I really showing to my kids, right? If I want them to set goals and work hard to get there, I need to set goals, work hard, and get there. And like I said, it goes beyond just my kids. I think about my employees and the people that work for me. I want them to see that I'm setting goals, that I'm making a plan to achieve those goals, and I'm fulfilling the actions of that plan because I want them to do the same thing. I want my team members to be working hard at work. So therefore, I need to work hard at work. And how do I know what to work hard on? Because it is alignment with my goals. So it sets that example for other people around me. And I know how good it feels when I hit a goal. I want other people to be experiencing that as well. So those are just 3 reasons why I want to encourage you that it is good to hope for things to come. It is good to set goals, and it is important to set goals. Now, with that said, I do want to say that it's important that we be careful with the goals that we set. Now, oftentimes when we set goals, that goal can become an idol, and that is not good. When I'm saying that, I mean we sacrifice way too much for the sake of the goal. We focus solely on the goal. We neglect other parts of our life for the sake of the goal. And while sometimes, we might need to shift our balance a little bit, redefine what our balance looks like in a season. Say if you're going back to school and that's the goal that you're going for, or you're needing to make some changes in your health, and then, it's going to make some sacrifices in some other areas of your life, like, happy hour with your friends or whatever. There's going to be some give and take. but you just don't want that goal to be so all-consuming that it hurts your relationship with God, that it hurts your relationship with other people, and that it hurts your balance towards the other areas of your life. And this is why setting goals in a balanced way is so, so important. Now, yesterday while I was getting my oil changed at my car, I walked over to Barnes & Noble bookstore and I was just flipping through some books, killing some time. And I opened up this book and it was a health book. And normally when people are talking about balance, other than me, they're saying balance is not possible. It's not this thing and blah, 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 blah. Well, this one particular book, I think it was a Jillian Michaels book. I don't remember the title of it, but I happened to open it up and she was talking about balance. And she was, mostly talking about balance in your health, the nutrition, and, the choices that you're making. But one of the things that really stuck out to me that she said is balance is not about perfection and it's not about things being even. And when you look at balance in nature, nature's balance is all about asymmetry. It's not about equal. It is about the give and the take and the way that they work together in harmony. And I thought that right there is so perfect because when we talk about balance, it's not that everything's going to be even. Your time and attention is not going to be even, but that doesn't mean we neglect other areas of our life. And that's why when you do the goal setting workshop that's on YouTube or in your email box, you're going to see that we're setting goals in all areas of our life. And in fact, in our new life balance method, we set a bigger lifestyle goal, and then we have those littler goals in the other areas of our life that support that lifestyle goal. And I teach you kind of how to do all of that, how to make it all fit together in harmony, just like nature, because that's why God designed nature to be. But don't let your goal become your idol that pulls you away from those other things. The other thing I want to be careful about with our goals is that we set ourselves up for success. And if you can't set yourself up for success, then you need to change your goal. I don't know about you, but not hitting our goals is so discouraging. If you've set, like, say, for example, a weight loss goal, and you've set it over and over and over and over, and you're just not hitting it, then that is kind of where that spirit comes from, right? Of that feeling, like I was saying at the beginning of the show, where it's like, I don't even want to set a goal anymore. But if we're really honest with ourselves, I just recently listened to a book from Andy Stanley called Better Decisions, Fewer Regrets. And he talks about being honest with ourselves. And I think that that's where we have to really look at these goals that we set for ourselves that we don't overachieve. We have to be honest with ourselves and ask ourselves some questions about why. Is it that we are maybe secretly, subconsciously even sabotaging ourselves because we don't actually want to hit the goal? Or that we're scared to hit the goal? Or we have some other reason for resisting that goal? Because sometimes we say we want something, but we don't always want to do the work in order to get there. Or there's something that's uncomfortable about getting there. There's something blocking us from doing what is necessary, and that is why we don't always fulfill the action. And to get caught in that loop is so discouraging. And so you really have to ask yourself and be honest, do I really want to hit this goal? And if so, how am I going to set myself up for success? Really looking at, like, what are the things that cause me to go astray? What are those obstacles that get in my way of being successful? And how can I do something differently this time? And as soon as you start to see yourself sabotaging yourself or not really doing those actions, you have to come back to, maybe this isn't the right goal for me. Maybe I need to set a different goal, or maybe even just look at the goal in a different way. Recently, I lost 20 pounds, and that's been something I've struggled with for a really long time. And I ended up going to a naturopath, and they put me on this really strict diet. But the thing that was different about this diet is that it wasn't like you're going to do this until you reach this goal, like a weight. It was instead, you're going to do this for 50 days, and we're going to see where you are. So in my mind, it wasn't like, okay, I need to get to this point on the scale, and so I need to do what's necessary to get to that point on the scale, because that felt like it was out of my control a little bit. But 50 days, I can control that. I can control what I do for 50 days. The outcome is going to be the outcome, but I'm going to control what I can control. And I think that that's a big difference when we're setting goals for ourselves is instead of looking or setting a goal for something that we can't necessarily control, but we can set a goal for things that we can control. And so maybe it's just even a different perspective on how you need to set that goal for yourself. Number 3 on being careful with your goals is you want to make sure you're holding on to your goals loosely. If God wants to do something different, you need to let him. We're going to set these goals, but we don't know what the next year is going to bring. I mean, look at 2020, perfect example, right? We had no idea on New Year's when we were setting goals and intentions for the new year that all of this craziness was going to happen in the year. And in fact, if someone would have told us, we would have been like, yeah, right. Like the kids aren't going to school. Yeah, right. But yet that's what happened. We don't know what God is going to do. He could drop something in our lap that's so awesome, or there could be something really kind of awful that happens. Either way, we need to trust God and hold on to our goals loosely and be ready to pivot and switch to a different direction if we are called to. And this kind of links us back to that first point of not letting your goals be an idol, because if our goals are an idol, then no matter what, we're going to be like, no, I need to hold on tightly to this goal. This goal matters most. But if we say, you know what, God, you matter most, whatever it is that you want to do, that's what I am open for, then be open. So I hope that that helps you as you're setting goals going into the new year, to encourage you, one, to set goals. If you're like me and you're a little bit like, I just don't even want to. I don't even want to set a direction for the year because who knows what's going to happen. But I hope it encourages you to hope for something different and giving you some guidance on how to be careful about setting those goals for yourself. And again, I hope that you check out the free virtual goal setting workshop. It's over on YouTube. You can go to yourliferocks.com/YouTube. It's also linked down in the description for this episode. Now I want to talk to you about some of the changes that are coming up for 2021. Really, there's not a ton of big changes. It's just really simplifying, more so for me on the back end and just how much things I'm pouring my time and attention to, but also really expanding out some of the resources for you as you are working to create those systems in your life to create more balance for yourself. Now, one of the bigger changes that you are going to be seeing, and maybe you've already seen it, if you're on my email list or you've seen some things on social media, you've been to the website, then you've probably already have seen this. But we are now offering courses outside of Life Balance membership. Now, prior, Life Balance membership is the place where you found all of the courses, the Life Balance course, the Clear Your Chaos course, everything. And now we're starting to offer some things outside of the membership. The membership is still definitely there, but the Clear Your Chaos course, which is a 7-day audio course that kind of touches on some of the key cornerstones of your life. It's a great course to take when you're like, I need to get myself back into routine. So whether it's after a vacation or just, things have been a little bit chaotic, you've gotten off your routines and you need to just like ground yourself in center, then Clear the Chaos is a great course to take. It's very inexpensive. It's just 7 days. And so now that is available outside of the membership. We also have another new course that we are starting live January 9th. And when I say live, it means that we're all going to be doing it together. Now, you can get this course anytime going forward, but starting January 9th, again, we'll be doing it all together. So if you're like, I just need some accountability, or that community piece when we're talking about balance is really important to me, I don't really have that with other working moms, then this would be a great time for you to do the Life Balance Method. Now, what the Life Balance Method is it's essentially the Life Balance course that used to be available only inside of the membership, but it's expanded now, meaning it is a 12-week long program. Every single week, you are learning the life balance system. You are learning systems for each area of your life. So when we're talking about faith, marriage, parenting, career, health, home, finances, friends, and fun, all of that is incorporated into the 12-week program. Now, when the workshop, we set goals in all 8 areas of life. With the Life Balance Method, I'm going to show you how you can set those bigger lifestyle goals for yourself and then orchestrate those smaller goals that really help you support that lifestyle goal. So nothing is out of harmony. You're not, sacrificing your marriage for the sake of your career or sacrificing your friends for the sake of your health, right? Like it is a way of kind of setting those goals and giving time and attention to all areas of your life while still going after something big. And if you sign up for Life Balance Method, that's going to start on January 9th, if you sign up for that before January 1st, so December 31st is the last day to get the early bird price, which is $79. It's regular $99. Now, what comes with the Life Balance Method is I'm going to mail you your choice of a life balance planner. So if you want one that's spiral bound, then I will ship that out to you, included in the course price, or the one that goes for your notebook, like a disc style notebook, which is the one I use. If you choose that at checkout, then I will mail that out to you. So you have the physical planner to kind of walk you through day by day, week by week, your monthly planning, everything included in that price. Plus, included in that price is your 3-month membership into Life Balance membership. Now, the membership does not continue on automatically after the program. If you want to continue on after the program, then you absolutely can. And inside the membership, you're going to have member exclusive podcasts. So extra podcast content, more courses like our meal planning course, our morning routine courses. There's a ton of extra resources in there. Things around planning for your career, helping you in your marriage, some great recipes under the health section, all kinds of great stuff that is still accessible for our members. Now, the big change with the membership is that Life Balance course is no longer in the membership. So it's being completely replaced with the Life Balance Method. Now, for everyone who has been a member before the start of December, automatically gets the Life Balance Method. So it is gifted. Check your email. If you haven't gotten an email, make sure you email me because I sent you a code where you can get that course for free. It's a coupon code. So you'll purchase it to make sure that you're getting the planner and you're having access to the course on the website. And then I will, of course, ship you the planner, and then you'll still continue and get everything inside of the membership, but you won't have to pay for Life Balance Method. Now, as we move forward into 2021, you can still expect podcast episodes every single Tuesday featuring amazing guest experts. In fact, next week we have Lindsay Young coming on talking about health goals for the new year. So make sure that you come back next week and don't miss that. And then on Thursdays, we have a YouTube video that comes out, of course, over on YouTube. So you want to go over there, hit subscribe if you haven't done so already. And that would just be like the biggest Christmas gift for me. It's been a slow process of getting subscribers over there. I almost gave up on it, but I really actually enjoy making those videos because I'm able to show you more things. Like I can show you my computer screen when I'm showing you like how I set up my day for work and things like that. And so in 2021, there will be a little bit more focus in the first part of the year around home organization, career organization, just organization, period. One, because that's a big goal of mine is to kind of get back into some of my home systems. And so I want to show you how I have those systems set up. But I really love organizing things. And like I said at the beginning, it goes against my grain to have things organized, but I know it's good for me to do it. And so I want to kind of show you those systems physically that I have set up around my house to help me be the best that I can be. And so go over and check out YouTube for that. And then every single quarter, starting with the first part of January, we'll have our lifestyle guides coming out inside of the Your Life Rocks app. And if you don't yet have the app, make sure that you download it so you can get all of those lifestyle guides. So the lifestyle guides basically have tips and inspiration in all 8 areas of life. So we have an expert that writes content for you for your faith, career, health, home, finances. There's lots of bonus content in there too. So it's a great thing to get. Now, if you don't have the app and you're just not an app person, you can go to yourliferocks.com and sign up to have that lifestyle guide emailed to you when it comes out. So we will have our winter lifestyle guide coming out in January, and then we will have our spring edition coming out towards the end of March. And then in May, we will have our summer edition coming out, and then we will have fall, and then we will have another holiday edition next year. Now, there will be some other changes happening inside of Facebook. We will be only continuing on with one community, and that will be for the Life Balance membership. It's just too much for me. I am a one-woman show other than our amazing podcast editor. And it's just a lot to do the podcast, to do the videos, to do the lifestyle guides, put together everything for the membership. It's just a lot to be doing when I also have a full-time job and the kids and everything. But I definitely have been praying about it and feel like this is still something that God wants me to continue doing. So our general community will be closing towards the end of January. So I'm going to leave it open for a little bit of time, but we will be transitioning to having the community supports on our Facebook page or inside of Life Balance membership. That is where I will be spending the majority of my time, is inside of the Life Balance membership group. And that will allow me to just to have a little bit more space in my schedule so I can do more coaching and assisting our members as they are applying the Life Balance system to their life and really helping them with any things that pop up, whether it's around parenting issues. We can align them with the right experts and have some guest experts come into the group and speak to our members. It'll be really good. So I'm excited to be able to shine some more attention into our membership in the community aspect. And so that's it. I'm excited for 2021 and everything that it brings. Now, if there are some issues or topics that you would hope that I would cover either over on YouTube or here on the podcast or on the lifestyle guide, those are going to be the 3 cornerstones of information. Then make sure you send me an email or send me a message on Instagram or Facebook and let me know what that is that you would like to see covered. And I would be more than happy to find the expert, put together the content, and deliver it to you. I just pray that God would be with each and every single one of you listening to this podcast as you go into the new year, that He would line the path before you, bless your family in mighty and amazing ways, that He would hear your heart as you're setting goals for your new year, and that He would guard your minds, that He would guard your hearts, and allow you to truly feel the love that He has for each and every single one of you. May 2021 be full of blessings. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast and supporting Your Life Rocks in all of the ways that you have in 2020. Honestly, even if it's leaving a podcast review, subscribing to over on YouTube, sharing a social media post, sharing in your Instagram stories, the podcast, those things, whenever those happen, truly make my heart skip a beat. It means so, so very much to me. So I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. And I pray and hope that you have a very happy new year. So until next week, keep building a life that rocks. Bye. Hey, just because the episode's over doesn't mean we have to stop hanging out. Head on over to Instagram and follow me there. You can find me at your.life.rocks. Or if you're more of a Facebook kind of girl, join our community of working Christian moms just like you. You can search Your Life Rocks over on Facebook and connect with us there. And if you're ready to truly create lasting balance and get results in your life, maybe it's time for you to join Life Balance membership. Download the Your Life Rocks app in iTunes or in Google Play. You can upgrade to the membership right inside the app. And if you're looking for more resources to help you create more balance, head on over to yourliferocks.com.